Good morning, Doc. Good morning, classmates. So, I'm about to discuss the chapter 12 titled Enhancing Decision Making. So, in this slide, we have to discuss the what to sell and what price to charge. So in what to sell, it means that give or hand over something in exchange for money, and what price to charge. So this one, figuring out how much to charge, is a challenging part of doing business. Determining the best price for your product may seem like a matter of instinct, but much more thought is required to make sure your prices are both fair and competitive. So how much should you charge for a product depends on a number of factors, including how much it costs to make the product, expenses related to marketing and the product, and your customers' willingness to pay. So there are three models that are useful in determining how much to charge for your products. So the first one is the cost plus pricing, sometimes known as markup pricing. So this model builds a profit into your product pricing strategy. Cost plus pricing is simply that, a price that covers your costs plus some markup for profit. So using the cost plus pricing allows you to plan for financial success. However, there is a downside. If you've overestimated your sales for 1 month and fewer items are sold, you may not be able to cover the cost to produce your product. The second one is the demand pricing. Demand-based pricing takes into account the demand for a particular product, adjusting prices to fit how a customer perceives value. A common example of demand pricing is the airline industry. The ticket price will change based on the holiday season or during spring break, for instance. So this type of pricing works well with services too. So demand pricing can be very sensitive, but if you notice that you can't keep up with the demand for your product, you may be undercharging. Try raising prices incrementally and observing how sales numbers and profits are affected. The last one is the competitive pricing. So competitive pricing is the least complicated option, as it involves seeing what other similar retailers charge for their products. Keep in mind, however, that if your product is of higher quality, the price should reflect that, and vice versa to the lower quality product. So make sure that in addition to looking at market prices, you price to cover your costs and expenses. So many product verticals regularly provide manufacturers suggested retail pricing to guide merchants on a pricing strategy. That this is another great resource that you can use to calculate your unique pricing model. So there are three business value of improved decision making. The first one is, how does decision making affect the organization? Second one, how does decision making impact the current strategic business objectives? And the last but not the least, how does decision making relate to your organization's future? There are two types of decisions. So the first one is the structured decisions. So when we say structured decisions, those are that can be programmed. This decision can be taken objectively. They are essentially repetitive, routine, and involve a definite procedure for handling them. So Herbert A. Simon termed structured decision as program decisions. So program decisions are in fact those that are made in accordance with some policy, rule, or procedure that they do not have to be handled de novo each time they occur. It is for these reasons that such managerial problems are relegated to the supervisory level. The second one is the unstructured decisions. Unstructured decisions are those in which the decision maker must provide judgment, evaluation, and insights into the problem definition. This decision must be taken subjectively, so unstructured decisions are more speculatively in nature, usually one-sort occurrences for which standard responses are usually not available. Hence, they are required a creative process of problem-solving, which is specially tailored to meet the requirement of situation in hand. In fact, managers at higher level in an organization are usually faced with more such unstructured decision-making situations. Some have aptly described the situation as somewhat strategic in nature as compared to the tactical orientation of the structured decision at a lower level of management. Strategic decisions are non-respective, vital, and important, and aim at determining or changing the ends or means of enterprise. The decision-making process. It helps in efficient and improved decision-making. It encompasses techniques such as simulation, mathematical optimization, queuing theory, stochastic process models, econometric methods, data envelopment analysis, neural networks, expert systems, decision analysis, and the analytic hierarchy process. So effective decision-making demands accurate, timely, and relevant information. MIS provide accurate and timely information necessary to facilitate the decision-making process and enable the organization's planning, control, and operational functions to be carried out effectively. So in this slide, we have to discuss the 7 steps to effective decision-making. So decision-making is the process of making choices by identifying a decision, gathering information, and assessing alternative resolutions. Using a step-by-step decision-making process can help you make more deliberate, thoughtful decisions by organizing relevant information and defining alternatives. This approach increases the chances that you will choose the most satisfying alternative possible. So the step 1 is identify the decision. You realize that you need to make a decision. Try to clearly define the nature of the decision you must make. This first step is very important. The second step is gather relevant information. Collect some pertinent information before you make your decision. What information is needed, the best sources of information, and how to get it. This step involves both internal and external work. Some information is internal. You'll seek it through the process of self-assessment. Other information is external. You'll find it online, in books, from other people, and from other sources. Step 3. Identify the alternatives. As you collect information, you will probably identify several possible paths of action or alternatives. You can also use your imagination and additional information to construct new alternatives. In this step, you will list all possible and desirable alternatives. Step 4. Weigh the evidence. Draw on your information and emotions to imagine what it would be like if you carried out each of the alternatives to the end. Evaluate whether the need identified in step 1 would be met or resolved through the use of each alternative. As you go through this difficult internal process, you'll begin to favor certain alternatives. Those that seem to have a higher potential for reaching your goal. Finally, place the alternatives in a priority order based upon your own value system. Step 5. Choose among alternatives. Once you have weighted all the evidence, you are ready to select the alternatives that seem to be best one for you. You may even choose a combination of alternatives. Choose your choice in step 5 may be very likely be the same or similar to the alternative you placed at the top of your list at the end of step 4. Step 6. Take action. You're now ready to take some positive action by beginning to implement the alternative you choose in step 5. The last step, step 7. Review your decision and its consequences. In this final step, consider the result of your decision and evaluate whether or not it has resolved the need you identified in step 1. If the decision has not met the identified need, you may want to repeat certain steps of the process to make a new decision. For example, you might want to gather more detailed or somewhat different information or explore additional alternatives. Managers and decision making in the real world. We have here 3 main reasons why investment in IT do not always produce positive results in information quality. So first one is high quality decisions required high quality information. Second, managers have selected attention and have variety of biases that reject information that does not conform to prior conceptions. And the last one, strong forces within organizations resist making decisions calling for major changes. In this slide, I have to discuss the 7 decision making for managers. So managers are responsible for controlling and administering all or part of a company or similar organizations. How this manager can make effective decisions in today's world? So when you manage a business, you are constantly making decisions often under pressure. How do you make the best possible decisions, knowing they will have an impact on your company's future? So as a leader, there are strategies you can use to avoid common pitfalls and hone your decision-making skills. Making better, faster decisions will help you take advantage of business opportunities and avoid pitfalls. So, first one is reframe the problem. Backing up is sometimes the best way to move forward. When you're presented with a problem, step back and think about its full context. Try to see the issue from as many perspectives as possible. That will help ensure you are not emphasizing one aspect and neglecting others. Begin by trying to think of at least 3 different ways of looking at the problem. Second, make evidence-based decisions. The aim of evidence-based management is to use scientific evidence when making decisions, rather than simply trusting one's instinct. Like most people, you probably tend to use your judgment and to base your decisions on what is familiar. But experiences that you have had at other companies or in different circumstances may not apply to the situation at hand. There are simple steps you can take to incorporate evidence into your decision making. Use performance data to support your decisions. Get the most current and complete the data as possible. Challenge your gut feelings. Is there any objective evidence to support them? When a course of action is suggested, find out what it's based on and whether it's supported by data. Determine whether commonly used business strategies have worked in a situation like yours. Will they apply to your particular case? 3. Challenge the status quo. People tend to choose the status quo over change, to stay in their comfort zone. But being comfortable with an approach may not be enough to justify it. Question whether you would choose a course of action if you weren't already knowing it. Examine your options as realistically as possible. Don't overstate the cost or the effort involved in making a change. For example, if you were starting over, would you use the same marketing strategy to attract customers? Would you attend the same trade shows? Would you emphasize web-based marketing, direct mailbox, or a mix? Don't forget to find supporting data that will help you review your choices objectively. Number 4, get an outside perspective but trust yourself. Make it a habit to ask others for information and opinions. Be open-minded. Get a wide range of views so you can see an issue from as many perspectives as possible. Employee opinions count. Find ways to encourage information sharing in your company. Be open to plain talk and foster an atmosphere where people can be direct, even when the truth is unpleasant. Using performance evaluation is one way to encourage these values. Deal with problems. If you want to consult others about problem, be sure to consider it carefully from as many angles as possible before talking to them. That way, you will avoid being limited by their interpretations and ideas. Frame the problem in as many ways as you can, and then seek out others to see whether they can add to your understanding of the issue. Number 5, develop an eye for risk. It's possible to train yourself to look for all types of risk. Whenever you make a decision, ask yourself, if I make the wrong decisions, how will I know it? For example, if you are considering changing your transportation career to cut costs, think about how you would determine that you had made the wrong decisions. This type of exercise can help you see the potential pitfalls of a decision and take steps to avoid them. Even a general good plan will have caused potential problems. Ask for information on how the plan could go wrong. Play the devil's advocate. Examine all the evidence, both bad and good. Don't underestimate the cost and effort required. Number 6, let go of past mistakes. People have a tendency to make choices that justify past experiences, even when a previous decision has not worked out as well as they planned. We also tend to spend time and money fixing past problems, when it would be more useful to acknowledge the mistake and move on. Making sound decisions means taking into account the evidence that is available at the time. Sometimes the context changes and that decision is no longer valid. Recognize that you made the best decision possible under the circumstances, and then review the situation to see whether a different decision is now called for. In your company, take time to recognize employees who make good decisions based on sound evidence. Don't focus exclusively on outcomes, as that approach can encourage employees to perpetuate mistakes by continuing to try to fix them. And the last one, the number 7, be honest with yourself. Before gathering evidence to make a decision, take time to review your own motivations. Is your mind already made up? Are you really gathering evidence objectively, or are you simply looking to confirm an existing idea? Be aware of your own motivations that can help you remain objective and focus on finding the best possible solutions for your business. Be decisive. High-velocity decisions involve quickly acting on reversible decisions, making decisions with partial information, being okay to disagree and commit anyway, and rapidly escalating misalignment. So high-velocity automated decision-making have made possible through computer algorithms, precisely defining steps for a highly structured decision. For example, humans taking out of decision and high-speed computer trading programs, trades executed in 30 milliseconds and required safeguards to ensure proper operation and regulations. The next topic is about business intelligence in the enterprise. Business intelligence helps guide both operational decision-making and strategic planning in an organization. BI or business intelligence applications generate insights on business performance, processes, and trends, enabling management teams to identify problems and new opportunities and then take action to address them. So what is business intelligence? It's increasingly important for a business to have a clear view of all their data to stay competitive, which is where business intelligence tools come in. Business intelligence combines business analytics, data mining, data visualization, data tools and infrastructure, and best practices to help organizations make more data-driven decisions. In practice, you know that you've got modern business intelligence when you have a comprehensive view of your organization's data and use that data to drive change, eliminate inefficiencies, and quick adapt to market or supply changes. Modern BI solutions prioritize flexible self-service analysis, govern data on trusted platforms, empower business users, and speed to insights. It's important to note that there is very modern definition of BI, and BI has not a struggled history as a buzzword. The business intelligence environment. Business intelligence environments consist of a variety of technologies, applications, processes, strategies, products, and technical architectures used to enable the collection, analysis, presentation, and dissemination of internal and external business information. As you can see, there are 6 elements in a business intelligence environment. First one is the data from business environment. Second one is the business intelligence infrastructure. The third one is business analytics toolset, the managerial users and methods, delivery platforms such as MIS, DSS, and DSS. And the last one is the interface such as data visualization tools. Business intelligence and analytics capabilities. The goal is to deliver accurate real-time information to decision makers. The main analytic functionalities of BI systems are production reports, parameterized reports, dashboards or scorecards, ad hoc query search or report creation, drill down, and forecast scenarios models. So each of the management groups, such as the 3 levels of management, which is the lower supervisory, the middle management, and the senior management, has different responsibilities and different needs for information and business intelligence, with decisions becoming less structured among higher levels of management. Decision support for operational and middle management. So here are the characteristics of a typical MIS system. So used for structured and semi-structured decisions, report based on routine flows of data, provide general control of the organizations. Routine production reports are the primary output. Exception reports are available. Most of the decisions that are operational and middle management make sure are fairly structured. Management information systems are typically used by middle managers to support this type of decision making, and their primary output is a set of routine production-based reports based on data extracted and summarized from the firm's underlying transaction processing systems. Increasingly, the middle managers receive these reports online on the company portal and are available interactively query the data to find out why events are happening. To save even more analysis time, managers turn to exception reports, which highlight only exceptional conditions such as when the sales quotas for a specific territory fall below an anticipated level of employees have exceeded their spending limits in a dental care plan. Interactive session on management. Management decision problems is whereby when a situation arises and management of a company needs to make a decision which requires research and hence starts the research process, there is no action-able guidance. It is simply a statement of the issue that management is dealing with, and there must be restatement in the research terms. So some managers are super users and keen business analysts who wants to create their own reports and more sophisticated analytics and models to find patterns in data, to model alternative business scenarios, or to test specified hypotheses. Improving decision-making using pivot tables to analyze sales data. So in the next slide, I have to show you the sample of a pivot tables in the Google. So I have searched it online, and here's a sample table. When you explore the Excel, you might see or seen the pivot table there. So this is the sample input in the pivot table for the sales of 3 years of the past 3 years. So this currency is dollars. I have just googled it, so I can show you the sample of a pivot table. So they input the year, the month, and the type or the item, the salesperson, so the region, and the sales, and also the units and the order number. So it's up to you if you want to add additional information or input to your table. What is web-based DSS? It is a computerized system that delivers decision support information or decision support tools to a manager or business analyst using a thin client web browser like Netscape Navigator of Internet Explorer. Web technologies can be used to implement any categories or type of DSS. Web-based means the entire application is implemented using web technologies. Web-enabled means key parts of an application like a database remain on a legacy system, but the application can be accessed from a web-based component and displayed in a browser. Web-based DSS deliver decision support information or decision support tools to a manager or business analyst using a thin client web browser like Netscape, Navigator, or Internet. A traditional decision support system does not provide flexible access to various DSS components in distributed enterprise-wide environment. As technology moved from LAN-based or client-server-based to internet-based technologies, web-based applications came up in a big way in decision-making system. Tools are developed using web-accessible technologies with knowledge base built on relational database management system. Today, most of the big organizations are creating data warehouses accessible by intranets and extranets based on internet technologies. The main goal of a web-based DSS is to retrieve a large volume of structured information using web-based technologies. The common approach is to build such a DSS by using a commonly available relational database management system, or RDBMS, for data storage and a common scripting language to forward the data in a suitable format to web clients using the HTTP protocol. By web-based DSS, generally we mean a system that provides structured decision support information to the decision makers using a thin client. In these systems, a server hosts the DSS application and the web browser may access this browser or this application. The database in this type of application is stored in a normal RDBMS. The updating of this database is again done through browser-based interface using HTML, extensible markup language, scripting language, and so forth. Simply making a DSS accessible by using a web browser does not mean a web-based DSS. A true web-based DSS is that which interacts with different widely distributed components of a decision-making system using web technology and TCP or IP. The major task in developing such a system is to design the model of distributed decision-making components like decision makers, the interfaces, and the database components. And that's all for my report. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Merry Christmas.